In this session, we are going to cover the topic parts of a flower. So let us start. We studied in the previous lecture that a flower is the reproductive organ of the plant. That means it helps in the sexual reproduction of the plant. And it is actually a modified shoot. Now when we talk about the parts of a flower, it mainly has 4 whorls which are arranged in a successive manner. So we will study about these 4 whorls. Now let us start from the base of the flower. So suppose this is the base of the flower. This base will be called pedicel or the stalk. Just like the leaf had a petiole which connects the leaf to the stem, similarly the flower has pedicel that connects the flower to the stem. Pedicel is also called a stalk. Now at the top of this pedicel is a swollen portion. This is a swollen portion which is called thalamus or receptacle. Now this thalamus or receptacle provides the surface for the attachment of the 4 whorls of the flower which we are going to study. So starting from the bottom, we will first have the first outer whorl which is the calyx. So the first whorl is the calyx. It is the outer whorl of the flower. It is usually green in color and leaf-like. It looks like a leaf and is generally green in color. And the single unit is called a sepal. So the single unit of the calyx is called a sepal, and the group of sepals together make the calyx. It is the outer whorl of the flower and helps to protect the flower when the flower is in the form of a bud. Now let us move on to the next part of the flower, which is the corolla. So at the top of the calyx we have another whorl which is usually very brightly colored, and the color may vary from one plant to the other. This whorl is called the corolla, and the single unit of corolla is called a petal. So many petals together constitute a corolla. The corolla is brightly colored. The main function is to attract insects for pollination because of its color. Alright, so the calyx and the corolla together make the accessory whorl or the accessory organs. This calyx and corolla are the accessory organs of the flower. Now let us look at the other 2 whorls which are actually the reproductive organs of the flower. So let us start with stamens, which is the male reproductive part of a flower. So this structure is the stamen or androecium. We will call it androecium. And the single unit of androecium is called a stamen. Alright, so in the stamen, the pollen grains are produced. It produces male gametes. So it is a male reproductive organ of the flower. Now let us look at the female reproductive organ of the flower. Let me use a different color. So this is the female reproductive organ of the flower. This is called gynoecium, and the other names are carpel and pistil. This produces the female gamete or the eggs. So the androecium and gynoecium are the reproductive organs of the plant. Alright, so we covered the 4 whorls found in the flower. Starting from the base, the first outer whorl is the calyx, which is green leaf-like and protects the flower when it is in the form of bud. Then above it we have corolla, which is the brightly colored attractive part of the flower, and it attracts insects for pollination. The calyx and corolla together are called accessory organs. Then we have stamens or androecium, which are the male reproductive parts of a flower, which produce pollen grains. And we have gynoecium, also called carpel or pistil, which is the female reproductive part of the flower. It produces egg cells or ovules. The androecium and gynoecium together form the reproductive organs of the flower. So these are the 4 main whorls of the flower. Now let us look deeply into the structure of a stamen and carpel. So if we talk about a single stamen, it looks like this. The stamen has 2 parts. The stalk, which is called a filament, and this part, the top part, is called an anther. Now this anther is bilobed, that means it has 2 lobes. As you can see here, this is one lobe and this is the second lobe. So the anther is bilobed, and inside each lobe 2 pollen sacs are present. Each lobe has 2 pollen sacs, inside which pollen grains are produced. These pollen grains later form the male gametes. So, if we look closely at the bilobed anther, the bilobe looks like this, And if we take a transverse section and look into the microscope, then the bilobe will look something like this. And each lobe will have 2 pollen sacs like this. So this is one lobe and these are 2 pollen sacs. Inside the pollen sacs, pollen grains will be produced. So this was about the structure of the androecium or the stamen. Now let us look at the gynoecium. Or carpel or pistil. So the female reproductive organ of the plant looks somewhat like this. The swollen base portion is called ovary. The upper part, which is usually sticky, is called stigma, and the long slender part which connects the stigma to the ovary is called a style. The stigma is usually sticky so that the pollen grains can land on it for pollination. The ovary usually has ovules inside it. The ovules may be one or many. Suppose this is one ovule, and this ovule will be connected to the ovary with the help of a placenta. This is ovule, this is placenta. Alright, so the ovary can have one or more ovules. Now, once the pollination is complete and fertilization has taken place in the flower, then the ovary turns into a fruit and the ovule turns into a seed. Alright, so this was about the carpel or the pistil. And a flower can have one or more carpels. Alright, so if the carpel is one, then the flower is called monocarpellary. If the carpel is two or more carpels, then the flower will be called multicarpellary flower. Alright, now the multicarpellary can be further divided into 2 types. Carpellary. So a multicarpellary flower can be of 2 types: apocarpus and syncarpus. Apocarpus flower is the one in which the 2 or more ovaries are free, they are not fused. The ovaries are free, they are not fused. Examples are lotus and rose. So in lotus and rose the flower is apocarpus, that means it has more than 2 ovaries and the ovaries are free, they are not fused together. While in syncarpus the ovaries are fused. The example of syncarpus flower is tomato and mustard. Tomato and mustard. So I hope multicarpellary and monocarpellary flower is clear. Now similarly, we just studied about the apocarpus and syncarpus condition when the ovaries could be free or fused. In the same way, the calyx and the corolla could also be free or fused. So if sepals, if in case of calyx, if the sepals are free, then this type of condition is called polysepalous. Whereas if sepals are fused, then the condition is called gamosepalous. All right. Similarly, if we talk about the corolla, the petals could be free. That type of flower will be called polypetalous. If the petals are fused, we will call it gamopetalous. All right. So I hope these terms are clear to you. Now the flower, we studied that the flower has 4 main whorls. Now some of the flowers may have both the reproductive organs, male and female, while others may have only one reproductive organ, either male or either female. So if the flower has both male and female reproductive organs, then that flower is called bisexual flower. Whereas if it has either androecium or gynoecium, either male or female reproductive organs are present, that kind of flower is called a unisexual flower. I hope these terms are also clear to you. Now if we talk about the calyx and corolla, in some of the plants the calyx and corolla are fused. They are not free or they are not distinct from one another. So one such plant is a lily, in which the calyx and corolla are not distinct. That means you cannot see the calyx and corolla separately. They are together as a form of one unit. So this kind of condition is called perianth, when the calyx and corolla are not distinct but they are fused together in the form of one unit. So that condition is called perianth, and it is usually seen in lily. Alright, so this is an important term. You must remember it. Alright, so I think we have covered all the topics related to the structure of a flower. Let me just have a look if I have covered all the topics or not. Is this one more term? We studied about the stamen. So there's a term called staminode. So a sterile stamen is called a staminode. A sterile stamen. A stamen that does not produce pollen grain is called a staminode. So this is also one of the important terms that you should remember. So that covers the topic for this session. I hope all the concepts and terms and everything is clear to you. Thank you so much.